Welcome. I'm Adam Miller, a consultant with the Art of Applying and a graduate of the University of Virginia's Darden School of Business. Today we've got a question from our Q&A vault about submitting your GRE or GMAT scores through the consortium to the schools that you're applying to. So let's take a look at the question and what our consultant had to say back. The question is, hello, do you send GRE scores to the consortium schools individually, or do you just send them to the consortium? So the consortium, for those of you who don't know, is a group of about 20 of the top MBA programs who've come together to say that we care about diversity, equity, and inclusion, specifically admitting students who've demonstrated a commitment to those things, regardless of their own ethnicity. We have some amazing benefits that come with that. One of them is a common app, which is what this question refers to. And then the two others are scholarship opportunities and access to companies before you even hit the campus that you might end up at. So in regards to the actual application here, the thing that's fantastic here is, on the one hand, you've got the Common App, which it costs the price of applying to one school for up to 6 schools, which will save you $1,000 plus right there, as well as when you take the GRE or the GMAT, you oftentimes have to pay to submit your scores to each individual school. But because the consortium just takes all of those at once for up to 6 programs, you don't have to keep paying to submit them to each school. The consortium will send that score off to the schools on your behalf. So in my case, for example, I remember with the GMAT, you got 5 schools, I believe it was, that came with the price of just taking the GMAT, and the GMAT was like $200, $300. If you wanted to add more schools to get your scores, then that was going to cost you like $25 or $50 just to have them send those scores off to those additional programs. And so I applied to 9 programs, but because half of those were consortium schools, it still worked out that I only had to submit to 5 total organizations and not pay any additional money. Now, I mean, it's only a couple $100, so it's not the end of the world for me in my case, but it's just a nice benefit that there was no extra hurdle. I could just enter in the consortium and that would cover the 5 or 6 consortium programs that I applied to. So that is the answer to today's question, right? You take your GRE or GMAT score, and when you're taking that, there's a code for each program that you have to input that allows those organizations to just automatically send your score to that organization on your behalf. And you're going to just use the consortium when you do that for the consortium programs that you're looking at. And the only thing to really add here is something that our consultant said back in this question, or in their response. So I'm going to go ahead and read it out and it'll become very apparent. So the consortium requests an official copy of your GRE scores, and their code is this. From what it looks like, once the consortium gets your official scores, then the scores go to the school, so no need to send on. So that's already what I've been saying. Here's the new information. If by any chance you are retaking the GRE or the GMAT, then the consortium also wants those new scores. So here's what the consortium has to say about sending new scores. It's fine to retake the GRE or GMAT. This might be happening, right? Because you took the test, you got the score, and then you submitted your applications, but you said, you know what, this is not as high as I think I could get on this standardized test. So even though I've already submitted all my application materials, I want to take it again while I'm waiting to hear back from them a few months later. And so you should check with the schools to see how they want to get that information. But basically, the consortium says that if you just put that same code again into the system to have it sent to the consortium, then they will send it on to the school for you again. Let's make sure here what she says. You're going to want to talk to the school to make sure that you're doing this within an acceptable time frame. Generally, it's just whatever is before the date in which they release who gets in when. I try to take the GRE or the GMAT before a week out so that they can make sure that they've got time to evaluate you with that new score. But in general, they'll accept scores usually until the day before they make the decisions. But go ahead and check with them. And once you schedule the test, notify the schools of your new test date, right? Schools oftentimes want to know that you're changing something in your application. You should see what their policy is for hearing about updates. Usually they'll want to know if you're retaking a standardized test. And when you take the test, just select the consortium to receive the scores. When they get them, they'll send it off in your application. If you have any worries about that, you should definitely feel free to reach out to the consortium and make sure that they did so. Sending them a quick email, I'm sure they'll say yes, but that'll just give you peace of mind. And so the client says thank you, and thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found this information informative and a little bit entertaining. If you want any help getting into your dream school, whatever it may be, in whatever method it may be, please feel free to reach out to us at theartofapplying.com.